take extremely good care of yourself, I want you to lean this way. Not so much so, I'm going to ask you to lean this way. Just be careful you don't bump heads with your neighbors. And I want a nice, big, deep lean so that we can really see it. Okay? I take extreme, oh, well, before you do it, there's no middle. No middle. Every day you make decisions more important than this. Just make a decision. And it's also, one more thing, it's subjective. So if your partner goes over to this side and you're like, you shouldn't be over there. No, it only matters what you think about you, right? Not what you think about them. So I take extremely good care of myself. Lean this way. Not so much so lean this way. Go. Oh my God. Okay, part 2. I don't know if you got a good visual, but just be happy we're not on a boat right now because it would be bad. It would be very bad. Here's part 2. Listen, if you're happy with the side of the room you're virtually on, I want you to lean forward. If you're not so happy with the side of the room you're on, I want you to lean backward. Ready, set, go. Okay, this looks odd. If someone walked in right now, it looks odd. But okay, so I am going to virtually review the corners of the room, and we'll just talk about them a little bit, okay? So in that back corner of the room would be people who currently take extremely good care of themselves and are not happy there about that. Is anyone there? No, there's nobody there, okay? Got that? So this corner of the room would represent people who currently, in their opinion, take extremely good care of themselves and are thrilled and excited to be here. If that's you, say, woo! Oh, yeah. Well, see, there's some, so that's encouraging. So let me ask you a question of these people. Is every moment of every day like, woo? Do you agree that it's kind of a cyclical sort of thing, but that generally overall you feel like you're doing okay? Yeah. So what's great about being in this corner of the room, when you are in this corner where you're taking extremely good care of yourself, it's not like, oh, I've been working on this and I'm all good. It's like, no, it's not a place you get to. It's a place you get to, and then you see new doors that open, new opportunities that present themselves, new challenges that you feel capable of taking on. When you get to here, there's a new there. People in this corner, do you agree? That's what's amazing about being in this corner. It's not a stagnant place you get to. It's a place that just opens up a whole new road for you. Now, this corner of the room, the back corner, this corner is people that don't take extremely good care of themselves and are completely fine with it. If that's you, say, that's me. So there's a few people, a handful, a smattering of people. This is the point where I want you to get out in your book, your very busy handwork or paper or handouts that I left for you here. There's some resources on the back, blank paper. I'm going to tell you a couple of things that I'd really love for you to write down. So these people teach us a lot. We all know people in this corner of the room. People, and they're nice people. They're smart people. They're good-looking people. They're fine. They also know what to do. They know what to do to get there. They don't want to do it. Now, this could be your patients, your partner, your kids, your parents. It's when you want something more for people more than they want it for themselves. Right? I know how to get you off these diabetes pills. Like, us wanting it for people doesn't make it so. So if you want one thing that will plummet your stress level, write this down. Leave people where they are. It's not funny. If you've ever tried to change someone else, just stamp your feet. Liars. If you've ever tried to change someone else, stamp your feet. This is what we do. We're like, oh, it's great over here. You should come. You should do this. You should do that. You should do the other thing. If I only had 10 seconds with you guys, here's the one thing I would tell you. Write this down. Work harder on yourself than on anything else. Because here's what we do. We put our time, our energy, our money, our resources into trying to change other people. And they're fine where they are. When they're ready, they'll come, they'll ask you, and we'll give them all the help and resources that we can. But what if, right now, when they're not ready, we put that time, money, energy, resources into ourselves? What would that be like? What kind of community members could we be then? Work harder on yourself than on anything else. and everything else will be better. I guarantee you that. Leave people where they are, your stress level will plummet. Now, the back corner of the room represents people who currently, in their opinion, do not take extremely good care of themselves. But if we were to do this again next year, you wouldn't mind being in this corner. If that's you, say, that's me. Be proud, that's me. This is a great corner to be in. Why is that corner so great to be in? Opportunity, potential, you'll never be lonely. So many great things about that corner. Amazing place to be in. Okay, so this friend of mine, she was a nurse. She worked day shift, her husband worked evening shift. They had 3 preschool kids. And it was good because they didn't have to worry about daycare and stuff, so she worked day shift, he worked evening shifts. This one particular day, she woke up exhausted. Have you ever woke up exhausted? Say yes. Okay, well, that's how she felt. She woke up exhausted, but she's a professional, just like you guys. She put on her big girl panties. Off she went to work, and she was nice to her patients, and nice to her colleagues, and nice to the families, and nice. And when she got home at the end of the day, she was even more exhausted, if that was possible. But then she had these 3 little kids to look after. Maybe some of you are living this life right now, or have lived this life, where you have a full-time job, and then you go home and you have another full-time job. And you don't know which one is easier. I think the full-time job at work is easier, mostly. Anyways, so she runs in the back door, grabs the baton from her husband, he runs out the front door, and then she's left alone with these 3 kids, and she doesn't have no idea how she's going to make it till bedtime. So she decides to take the easy way out. She lies down on the floor, pretends she's mobile gym equipment, and the kids just crawl all over her for a while, and that's good. But then, as kids sometimes do, they got hungry. So she had a brilliant idea. She said, "Who would like cookies for supper?" True story. I don't know if there's any dietitians out there, but you know what? Nobody died. They weren't even homemade cookies. Like, they weren't even homemade. They were like Chips Ahoy from a bag. She put it with a glass of milk. There's a couple of food groups in there. Nobody died. It was all good. They were happy. But if you're a parent or have been a parent, you know after playtime and supper time, but before bedtime, what time is it? It's bath time. And it was a hot August night, and they had no air conditioning in their house. So she had another brilliant idea. She said, "Go put your bathing suits on, meet me in the backyard." So they put their cute little bathing suits on. She lined them up in the backyard. She got the garden hose, hosed them down. They called it playtime. She called it bath time, and finally it was and she tucked her 3 little angels into bed. And then she had another brilliant idea. Because it was so hot and they had no air conditioning, she thought, I'm going to go sleep in the basement. The kids were fine. They have a better thermoregulatory system, right? He didn't bother them. Plus, they slept through the night all the time, and she was a light sleeper, so she wasn't worried. Don't jump ahead. Tucked her kids into bed, went into the basement, crashed. The next thing you know, her husband is shaking her awake. Stephanie, wake up. Not tonight. Really? Stephanie, wake up. Does he have any idea how tired I am? Stephanie, do you know what's been going on in this house? No, actually, I had no idea. But I woke up real quick. And what had happened was 3 hours before, our son woke up. Mommy, where are you? No, Mommy. Woke up his sister. Mommy, where are you? No, Mommy. Woke up the other sister, 3 kids crying for Mommy, and Mommy was in a coma in the basement. I heard nothing. But because it was a hot August night, we had no air conditioning, all our windows were open. So guess who heard? The neighbors heard. And being that we lived in a nice community, they did what any good community member would do, what any of you would have done if you heard a child in distress. They came into our house, which wouldn't have been so bad had we known our neighbors. But they were brand new neighbors, and they were also recent immigrants from Poland, so they hardly spoke any English at all. However, you know, a good neighbor's a good neighbor, community is community, and a child in distress is a child in distress. They came into our house. The mother came over, the father came over, the teenage daughter came over, the teenage son came over, and for good measure, so as not to frighten the kids, they brought their dog, Pinga. And for over 3 hours, 7 people and 3 dogs frolicked in my house, and apparently they had quite a good time. And I heard nothing. Let's just imagine you're my husband for a moment, and you come home at midnight, and your wife is gone. And there are strangers looking after your children. Just an aside, it was our 30th anniversary yesterday. 30 years in a row. Yeah. Anyways, luckily he knows me so well, the first thing he said was, "Did anyone look in the basement?" Which they didn't, so clearly this was all their fault. Obviously. Anyways, if you've ever been a parent, know a parent, have a parent, just shout out some adjectives. How do you think I felt when I found out what had transpired in my house? Yeah, all those things put together. I just couldn't believe I could let something like that happen under my watch. When I think about what could have happened to those kids, I can't even let my head go there. The next day, I got myself to the doctor's office, and nobody was ever as happy as I was to be diagnosed with pneumonia. Why was I so happy to have pneumonia? Time off. So I probably did what any of you would have done too. I took my doctor's note, I went to the florist, I took my flowers, I went over to my neighbors, and I was like, "See, I'm not the worst parent in the world, I'm sick." So here's my question for you, oh smart healthcare professionals. Did I just get pneumonia that day? I had been sick and tired and stressed and overworked and overwhelmed and on my way to burnout for days and weeks, probably months. But I had that little piece of apparel on, I got this. Yes, I can help you, and I can help you. Got that. And oh, you need extra shift? No problem. Bang. Sure, bang. Here's what I thought. I thought the world, the community, would collapse without my almighty presence. I am very important, you know. I thought it would just collapse. By the time I phone in sick, well, then I'm going to leave everybody short, and then I'm going to feel guilty, and it's just not worth it. I mean, by the time I explain to people how to do things, I might as well just... Fine, I'm fine. And this is what I learned that day. I thought the world would crumble without my presence. And what I realized is that my world could have crumbled without my presence. And here's my worry with people like us, people in helping, giving, caring professions. I feel like we have a nice meter, like a nice meter or a best meter, and we go to work and we're like super nice and super like giving our best, and then the clock tick, 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 tick. And then it's time to go home, and all our best is used up. All our nice is used up. And the people that love us most, matter to us most, and care about us most get the worst of us. And I flew all the way here from Vancouver Island to tell you this. That's not okay. I like to do like a remote keynote instead of a webinar, because when people hear webinars, they imagine that there's a slide and there's a little person at the bottom and it's pretty boring. And when I'm watching a webinar, I'm typically doing yoga or making a recipe or doing the dishes or something. I'm not really paying attention. So my job as a keynoter is to give them something that makes them pay attention, makes them lean in, makes them put away the dishes, put away their phone. You want to pay attention because you want better relationships, because you want to be happier, because you want to be healthier. You're not functioning at the level that you want to be functioning at. There are simple things that you can do today, like tonight at supper and tomorrow at work, to feel more hopeful, more empowered, more in control. There are things that you can do. And my job is to talk you into wanting to do them. I have my ways. What I find with a lot of people that I work with is they are nice for a living. They're giving their best, and they're being nice, and they're being helpful, and they're being kind, and they're being compassionate all day long. And they go home and there's just nothing left. They're frustrated, they're worn out, they're sad, they're They're just done being nice. I kind of think of it like as a best meter. Like you go to work and your best is, oh, you're using your best and you're being nice and everything's all great and you're being nice, and then as the afternoon comes, it's like, oh, your best is running out and your nice meter is kind of going down, and then, oh, time to go home and your best is all done and your nice is all used up, and the people that love you most, matter to you most, and care about you most get the worst of you, and that's not cool. When you are doing well in your home life, there's a better version of you to bring to work. And we need to bring that better version to both places. There's not really a work life and a home life. There is this interconnected world that we have to be able to function in. And our best it's ever fluctuating depending on how well we are taking care of ourselves, depending how well we are nurturing ourselves physically, spiritually, socially, emotionally. So psychosocial wellness is paramount in work and home life. I think that's a secret sauce. One of the words that absolutely saved my life, so brought me out of burnout, brought me to a place of being, I think, hopefully the best version of myself personally and professionally, is the word Kaizen. Well, if you're looking for information on how to be better, healthier, happier, whichever, you Google it and you can get 62 billion hits. But when you get 62 billion hits, you often get overwhelmed. And when you get overwhelmed, typically we do nothing. Kaizen comes from the Japanese auto industry. It means small to continuous improvement. Kaizen saved my life because Kaizen says, what is the smallest thing you can do to lean into the area that you want to go? So I think this is so empowering, because if we are continually improving in small ways, often that is going to go so much further than doing one big thing, for an amount of time and then not doing it anymore. It's an easy way to bring personal development into your world on a daily basis. I feel like what I bring to the table is a little bit of fun, a little bit of levity, and a lot of just real, genuine, authenticness. So I'm not trying to pretend to be anybody that I'm not. What you see is what you get. I'm just in jeans without my nails painted, and there's just nothing fancy or extraordinary about me. I'm just trying to spread a message of personal development, and I'm trying to make it applicable to everybody in a fun, interactive, engaging way so that they want to lean in, that they want to learn. I expect people to laugh and cry and learn. And you don't have to cry like out loud, but you might just cry like inside. And if people don't do those things, if I haven't made you feel, then I've done something terribly wrong. After spending time in Stephanie's sessions, participants showed that they feel statistically significant increases in feelings of happiness, hopefulness, control, empowerment to make necessary changes, empowerment to create positive change in the world, and their knowledge and strategies to deal with stressors and challenges. If I only had 10 seconds with people, this is what I would tell them: work harder on yourself than on anything else. It's my desktop screensaver. I believe if you work harder on yourself than on anything else, everything else will be better. We keep trying to change the world. We keep waiting for other people and other circumstances and things to be over or things to start or people to do something to shift how we are. No, just start where you are. Start with what you have. Work harder on yourself than on anything else. Everything else will be better. I guarantee you that. Yeah, it's nice to be able to like who you are at the end of the day, right? You put your head on your pillow and it's like, yeah, I'm all right. I'm not perfect, but I'm all right.